the pricing doesn't necessarily need to be a hindrance. Now, so how does pricing affect the overall demand for healthcare tech solutions, like a piece of software or tool or something like that? I think in private practice healthcare, um, for the most part, as a general rule, margins have been decreasing for a long time, right? This is not a secret. Decreasing reimbursement rates, increased administrative load for pre-authorizations and the like have just driven the cost of delivering care up, and then the revenue or the reimbursement for that care is declining over time. So providers are feeling a bit of a squeeze. That being said, pricing for a tech solution does not necessarily need to be a barrier or a hindrance to adopting that healthcare solution or that software. What I mean by that is it's all in the way that you position it, right? In a previous video, I talked about if you position this as something like a cost savings, like you might get some traction, but really, if you find what the actual problem or solution that is provided by this piece of software, maybe it's revenue generation, maybe it's visit recapture or no-show or cancellation reduction, which all have huge ROIs for clinics on the back end. Like if you can show that ROI for the software, then pricing really, as long as it's within reason, right? Like if the software is $100 a month and it's going to bring in or save, $300-400 a month, that's a good play. And as long as you've got that good ratio, it's a positive ROI for the clinic. And you can be very specific. The pricing doesn't necessarily need to be a hindrance. Now, some of the things that might be a hindrance, which we've talked about in the past, are going to be things like the data migration and integration. Like the current software, are they able to integrate with the new software that you're going to be bringing in? Do they have to pay somebody to transfer that data or input the new data? What kind of training is going to be involved? Are they going to have to take off time or pay their admin staff and their clinicians to sit in a room and learn how to use this piece of software? What kind of maintenance is going to be involved? And then is there going to be a hardware requirement down the line? Maybe it's a piece of software that only works on Android or Mac or something like that. I remember there was a client that I was working with that had for a long time an EMR practice management system, and they were switching away from it because they were upgrading their computers. They wanted to upgrade their computers to Mac, and this piece of software was only available and only worked with Windows. So you had to buy like Crossover, which was another piece of software to like open it on a Windows computer or to open it on a Mac computer, and it was just a big headache. So long story short, pricing doesn't need to be a barrier if it can be positioned well with a positive ROI and be specific about that ROI for the decision makers so they can look at it very clearly and say, okay, this makes sense.